SCPH replay right here, right now, and it is going to be on to Triton we go. First things first, introducing our players here, and now on the bottom right, we are going to have the red Terran, that is KomCorx, and his opponents. Here on the top left, we are going to have the blue Terran, that is PhyNix. So first things first, guys, this is a really high tier match of KomCorx. Over 5k in the MMR. PhyNix around 4.7, I believe, and that's really such a good thing in this day and age. I like how the Masters and up tiers really show your MMR in the first place, see what the underdog overdog is, and as the list gets tighter, as the ladder gets even more and more niched, because these are the best of the best, you can really see where you stack up in the first place and how far you can climb. But first things first, also, second things second. First things first twice, second things second. On another note, there you go, words are hard, but on another note, this name might be familiar for you guys who checked out the SEA Games, especially on day number 1. KomCorx is one of the representatives from the Thai scene, played the Terran, was in Group A, and on day 1, he was featured on the stream, facing off against Miyamaika. Sadly, he did lose in a sweep, but he tried his luck, he tried his best in the group stage. Unfortunately, was cut off after only taking one match win. But right now, we'll see what KomCorx has in store for us in a ladder match. Because this Terran can actually put up a pretty good fight. And something to note, this might just be mech versus mech in the first place. I've seen both players be a little biased in that sense, or just basically have tendencies to work into mech play. Mech play is really just the meta by this point. Mech play is really how things go, and I feel like PhyNix might be really happy about that, because he is an old school mech player back in the day. We used to meme about it that he can only play mech. His bio not really the best. He transitioned into some battle cruiser cheesy shenanigans later on into the career when the BC was really strong. It still is, but now it gets stunned and everything, so there are less things exploitable. But going back into mech as a meta really suits PhyNix in the first place, and I would be surprised if he can reach that 5k mark with the build that he's so comfortable with. But you can see a little bit of the difference. KomCorx knowing just how to go for that fight, actually trying to boop PhyNix on in, and it's actually going to be the 2 Reaper opening here and now from our blue Terran. Hellion going to be there as well, no tech whatsoever, no reactor, no tech lab, and instead it's going to be single pump Hellions by this point in time. But yeah, the Barracks is going to decide, hey, since an Hellion was forced out early, it's finally time to get the reactor tech going, make sure that more or less more pressure onto the workers gonna be into the cards, but scratch that, it's a tech lab instead built up here by PhyNix. And yeah, the 2 Reaper opening with 2 Hellions, so this does a lot pressure into the mineral line. The Hellions can get the burn on, the Reapers gets the bounces, and actually force the opponents to back on away. And with 2 Reapers, you can cycle them pretty well. One of them backs off while the other fights, and if microed really properly, these Reapers can stay alive for long. But on the flip side, KomCorx doing the same. He's the aggressor by this point, and he has 3 Reapers waiting by the ramp. The thing about Triton is you're not going to be exposed anytime soon if you're going to stay on this high ground, and that really is a big feature of the map in the first place. Highly defendable if you're on those high grounds, but you can just get swarmed around. You can get picked off if you are stuck on the low. Anyway, though, we are going to get the 1-1-1 setup, and yes, Raven's going to be built here and now. In terms of our 2 players, going to be looking for that supporting, along the way. Cyclone going to be set on up here and now as well by PhyNix. KomCorx doing the same. It seems like both sides going for the same opening, same build order in a few different variances in terms of the order. KomCorx, though, leaves the Cyclone behind just to make sure that there is going to be no drop play whatsoever that comes his way. It's a little bit of a lull in the storm. KomCorx just slightly ahead in that army count. In the meantime, no upgrades whatsoever, but in terms of production, PhyNix is really making as much as he can. Both sides really even in the worker count as well. So it seems like their build order is just unfathomable so far. They're just having a field day, working on their macro, making sure that they're fine and daddy, ready to go. But anyway, it's gonna be the bulk of the army gonna be going all the way into the main base, because here comes KomCorx sending in a Scouting Reaper And interesting enough, PhyNix actually has a supply depot there, the command center built, and that Reaper gonna be walking into the dead end. Did PhyNix do that on purpose or not? But that is actually really smart to be building a CC there. Seems like KomCorx didn't see that one coming, but he still will be idling all the way on the other side. Siege Tank right now gonna be providing that artillery support as well, gonna be very effective to any kind of attack here and now from KomCorx. Anyway though, third bases are going to be built here and now by our two players 5 minutes in, trying to expand as much as possible. A lot of respect honestly here for both sides, and really good jobs here for KomCorx and PhyNix to make sure that they're not going to get supply blocked anytime soon. That's a very interesting logo, by the way. I'm surprised it's not banned or anything, but I digress. Reactor Tech right now onto the starport, double pumping Vikings actually. This is going to be far support up on top. Can't really just pick off anything in the air with this composition, but at the same time, if need be, can drop on down to help out into the ground. The thing about the Viking though, it's not really the best unit per se in terms of raw power, but at least does a lot of flexibility, and more often than not, it really is just used for its anti-air purposes over anything else. It really reminds me of the Wraith back in the day from StarCraft 1, same banana, same kind of a setup. A good lock-on there from PhyNix, and the thing about lock-on, guys, it is a spell if it does get cast, so it doesn't get mitigated by armor. In the meantime, if you go for a right-click itself, that's when the armor and the damage types, whatever, all of the matchups factor in the first place. Cyclone can be an all-around unit into that one. You see the barracks though, PhyNix going to be using that for the scouts, but already it gets burnt on up by the gatling guns from the Marines. It's going to be PhyNix losing a building, just blowing up in the stratosphere. There you go, explosions are abound. You can see the propulsion engines dropping on down. But at the same time, this does put PhyNix a little bit of a pickle. He has his third command center ready to go, orbital command is set on up, but he can't really drop it down because KomCorx is waiting at his doorstep by this point. 3 Ravens in the field, and PhyNix doing the same. And this very, very solid build so far. Allows you so much utility, gets you that detection, and overall, going to be KomCorx waiting at the wings. In the meantime, yes, the Red Terran taking the lead basically in that macro count. He has 3 bases ready to go, but PhyNix looking to infiltrate actually with the Cyclone and these 2 Hellions. Siege Tank gonna get locked on, gonna be the takedown there. Hellion now trying to go for the trade against the Marine, but the Cyclone getting some much good needed value. PhyNix making an opening for himself, and this is gonna be him taking potential control of the 3rd base area. So basically, here comes PhyNix now coming closer and closer. That one Cyclone sacrificing his life for the greater good, and the greater good gonna be opened up to go for another base in tow. In the meantime, we are gonna get the transition here, and now KomCorx gonna be looking into some biotech here by this point. +1's coming online. Here we go though with the Raven fight. Auto turret set on up yet again, and it seems like PhyNix is having the advantage with the siege tank set in the first place. KomCorx losing Marines through the blast. Helion's gonna be there for reinforcement. Cyclone not gonna lock on in, but PhyNix finally decided to drop down those Vikings. And that's what they're for as well. Extra units in behind, and defender's advantage there for PhyNix, really allowing him to hold on for dear life. So by this point, that is honestly as best as PhyNix could get, because he's able to defend, make sure he doesn't get overrun, and is now looking to bridge the gap as KomCorx has been holding steadfast and getting the macro going. In the meantime though, here we go, a lot of meals here from PhyNix. Just want to get so much minerals by this point. But yeah, we are going to have basically some barracks. It's going to be all about bio actually here from KomCorx. So he does play that bio pretty well as well. Like both sides play the mech well. I'd say PhyNix might have a little bit of the edge in terms of a pure mech matchup. But KomCorx does know how to go for the bio. He does want to work into it as well. I'd say if it was a bio versus bio matchup, KomCorx can take it handily. And the real question here and now is, can KomCorx actually make these infantry work? Can the Marauders stay tanky enough, stay alive long enough against the upcoming mech army? Vikings as well, so many of them in the air. And this is going to be some really easy kills onto the medevacs in the first place. But yeah, the tech switch is there. We'll see if KomCorx can get the splits to work really, really well, because siege tanks are going to be their biggest enemy, of course. In the meantime, there's so many mules, so little time. Double Reaper as well as Ravens here for our Terran players, panning out to this. And anyway, here we go with the engagement already. The scouting marines immediately burn to a crisp. An easy time there for PhyNix, and he's gonna decide to send in another wave. But here comes the bulk of the army. Here comes the fight. And here comes all of that jazz there from our boy KomCorx. He's coming closer and closer, looking to make it to the other side. And in the meantime, here we go with the setup onto the ramp yet again. Interesting to note, earlier on, there's just so much gas coming the way of both players. It really was just that gas at the start, allowing the influx for the Reaper, for the Ravens to come on land pretty early. And it's really fun to see that both sides doing pretty much the same thing in that opening. But right now, it's gonna be PhyNix ready with the barrage, ready with the creep on, and ready to just decimate anything coming his way. In the meantime though, we'll see how this is gonna pan out. See all of that, see all that range. And here we go with the potential drop here from KomCorx, but PhyNix already on it. Playing a little bit of campaign here. Missile turrets set onto the right hand side. In the meantime, scans are abound. And it's time for a potential pickoff. Oh, that is gonna be one full ship of infantry burned down again. That is so unfortunate. Angel 6 going down by that point. PhyNix having so many of these Vikings. And was this really the right tech switch here for KomCorx to go into Medivacs unprotected by the Vikings when PhyNix has so many of them flying along? Could have decided to go for a similar fight, siege tanks all around, or maybe move into some more and more Cyclones, just get the lock on and run on away to these stationary units. We'll see though. KomCorx still in this fight, has the lead technically in terms of that army counts, but this is really just these low cost units trying to get ahead and ahead. Medivac's not going for the load on in. PhyNix has been able to come on back, and 4 bases right now set up here for both players. But the Medivac's gonna be all the way out in the front. Here comes the Vikings yet again, a hit squad perhaps. And siege tanks getting some free hits! KomCorx just walking into the fire! And the furnace just burning him down by this point! The Vikings gonna drop on down here, and now KomCorx is losing out everything. PhyNix in the meantime decided to win the ground game. Siege tanks still getting some really good hits honestly onto those Vikings. But overall, the Blue Terran in position into that one. KomCorx, what were you doing running all the way into Hell's Gate? And the devil will get his due. PhyNix right now rising from the ashes by this point, marching forward. He's just making sure that KomCorx takes the fight to him in the ground because of the Viking cuts. But oh no, that's going to be a Liberator up in the air. A Liberation is only going to be very, very effective. On the flip side, PhyNix deciding, hey, I'm going to take out my anger on to these rocks. Vikings actually going to go down here. And these Liberators gonna be absolutely free by this point. Only 2 Vikings, I believe, as well as that 1 Hellbat gonna be alongside all of this. And it might be PhyNix needing a little more anti-air in this scenario, because here comes the Liberation Zones yet again. It's all about freedom in defender mode. They go for the hits yet again. Still though, PhyNix is trying to decide what to actually do. He's been dancing around here and now, and the Liberator has gotten a number of solid hits so far. PhyNix, you might not want to be on the... Okay, red circles are bad. Red circles are bad, and rocks in the way are even worse. But now the Thor is here, might be able to get the takedown that they need. And you can see that extra fire rate honestly on the Thor, really allowing it to kill air units so much quicker, so much faster. Basically a good buff, even though the damage per shot has been lowered, because with the range where they're onto the Thor, it allows you to get more and more shots going. You can go for a basic starter step by that point. And I believe Thors have what, 11 range, I believe. I might be wrong on that, but yeah, they have a good amount of vision when they get the scans on. Can swap things over into a little more missile kind of armaments. And by this point, PhyNix is just getting closer and closer, creeping on in exactly what he wants to do in the first place. This fight's actually putting KomCorx on the ropes by this point. PhyNix having the big army set on up already. But this might be a do or die situation here for both sides. But PhyNix just punching all of that infantry into the air. Siege tanks just blowing all of those carcasses up. And there's a pool of blood, guts, and entrails here as PhyNix now knocking on the doorstep of KomCorx, deciding, hey, this base looks nice. I'm gonna go raise it down. Mules even set on up to get that repair back in play. A little bit of that manner. You just need to make sure that these stores are ready to go. PhyNix though, all tapped out in the resource department. He's just producing as much as he can. In the meantime, KomCorx floating on those Marines. Will it actually allow him to get even more and more of those Marines? But the problem here and now is that KomCorx only has how many barracks? Only has 5 of these. Sure, 2 of them reactor, 3 of them on tech lab, and they do produce pretty quickly. But it's just not going to be enough perhaps to use up all those resources in the first place, because PhyNix right now getting closer and closer. By the ramp we go again. These Marines cannot do much. KomCorx calling the GG, and PhyNix taking the W there. PhyNix able to defend really well. He found the opportunity, honestly. He found the opportunity to go for that third base with that Hero Cyclone. And from then on, he was in position to defend. KomCorx swapping over to the bio. And sure, it might work if he had the proper angles to go for the drop play. But unfortunately, the transition, just walking into the siege next there, just blowing everything up, Vikings up in the air, taking care of the medevacs. Overall, not the best way to go. I feel like if KomCorx stayed on with a mirror with the mech, got some Thors, or maybe got some siege tanks set up as well. You can also potentially go for the air units. They had Liberators, could have been really good actually. And KomCorx was looking into it. Liberators against those siege tanks, easy pickings all throughout, and then protect with your own Vikings. But I digress, I'm not a Terran player. I'm just merely tier crafting by this point. Good execution though, onto the builds from both of our Terran players, and what a match that was. It really does go to show in the highest of the high tiers, small decisions, small mistakes can really cost you the game.